Thank you for joining us today, Mark. Did you always have this passion? And what I mean, when you first got out of the military, is this something that you knew you wanted to do? Or did it take, you to warm up to it?
Negative. Now, I have a story of my own. And if you don't mind, I'll share it with you. So I retired from the Marine Corps. I retired and I was running a $375 million maintenance asset program for the Marine Corps. So production in manufacturing seemed very logical for me. I did take a job in production, and that company didn't like me. They did let me go within 2.5 months. My wife and I have 3 kids. We went through my entire retirement before finding a job, and it just so happened that the job that I got hired for was the job at the Center for Veterans Issues. So we were literally almost about to be homeless, and then we were about to use that program, and then I got hired. And I had talked to my wife, I had talked to my mother, talked to my siblings. I'm like, is this something that I could do? Because I didn't see myself being able to do it at all. And I knew there were still things that I was trying to figure out that I was going through because I have issues myself. So could I help somebody else? I found out that doing this and working in this, I became very, very aware of what was going on with veterans, and my passion grew, and my self-care started taking off because it's a little bit of therapy for yourself, but it's amazing what you can do and how helping out someone else can make you feel. That just kept growing in me, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And then I make a point to know as many different agencies as I can that can help veterans. And if I don't, I'm going to find you. I know the majority of the agencies around here in Wisconsin that service veterans for that reason. So it became my drive, my passion. It became everything that I wanted to do, like veteran advocacy. And actually it's for me, it's giving back to the veteran community, serving again, and making sure that they get everything that they absolutely deserve for their self-sacrifice of time to our military, which is amazing. I mean, you figure 3% of the Americans in America volunteer for military service, and a lot of them aren't getting the services that they actually deserve or they've earned from being in there. So if I could make one or two more aware of the services that are out there, and I could provide services to them, or I could help them out in any way possible, that was what I was going to do. And I think I became very good at it.
Yeah, you have, and I can tell just by the way that Jason spoke about you, and also just some of the what I've read about you, and then now meeting you, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Is there a? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's more too. So I don't know if you know or if you saw when you looked me up, but I was also a recipient from Hogs for Heroes, which is a local agency to Wisconsin who gifts motorcycles to disabled veterans.
I did hear about that. I absolutely did hear about that. Yes. And how they and how they construct the motorcycles with the different mechanics in order for disabled veterans to ride. I absolutely did hear about that. I sure did.
I'm recipient in number 11 from them too.
What do you ride?
So I have a 2015 Ultra Limited Low. So a bagger is what I ride right now.
Yeah, I got an 02 Road King. So yeah, I got a bagger myself. Yeah, I got a bagger myself. Yep. So tell us a little bit about what a veteran outreach recovery coordinator does.
Okay. So the veteran outreach and recovery coordinator for Region 8 or myself, I like to actually think of myself as more so a veteran advocate. So I work with veterans who are homeless, about to be homeless, struggling, and incarcerated, but that doesn't limit me to talking to veterans who are going through any different type of situation. So For me, a normal day-to-day working basis can differ every day depending on what's on the docket or how the phone calls roll in and what the questions are. So it's ever changing, and it's actually kind of fun like that because you never know what you're coming into through a day.
Great. So, Mark, you service 8 different counties in your region. What are some of the unique challenges and rewards of being a VORP in such a big region?
I think what's really ideal about it and what's unique about it is the contact that you make with the professionals or the other agencies that are in those counties, and then being able to bounce back and forth with those entities on how to best service or assist a veteran that is in those dire situations or in that need.
So, in the beginning, when we originally spoke, you said that you are also covering Milwaukee as well. So, how different is covering Milwaukee, say, from covering Columbia County or something like that?
Sure, like Columbia County is more rural, so sometimes the referrals are few from that county. Now, Milwaukee County is one of the more densely populated counties in the state of Wisconsin, so referrals come in rather quickly and rather very heavily populated from there due to that density. But then sometimes the comparison between rural and city is way different too, because there's so many different situations that could be going on at that one time. So that they differ that way too. But it's all on how you put it together and how you wrap them with the services with the other agencies that are there.
Later on, we'll be speaking with Jason Turner, who's the executive director for Salute the Troops in Wisconsin. And when we briefly spoke over the phone, he had mentioned in partnering with you. What are some of the other veteran community resources that you all partner with?
Well, and for me, that's a big thing. I like to wrap my veterans up in as many services as I can. So I ensure that we talk to the county veteran service office of their county. If there's any nonprofits that are in that county that I can connect with, some of the local ones, and I will. And I like to use Heat for Heroes, Salute the Troops, because they cover about 4 of the counties that I work in. With some of that, there's been some local ones too, where there are just veteran run nonprofits like Jen's Journey in Sheboygan or Elkhart Cares. But then there's also that important connection that you have to make with some of your military organizations as well. So I connect with your American Legion, your VFW, your Marine Corps League, your 40 and 8, any of those agencies that are able to and willing to provide assistance for veterans. I like to make sure that we connect with those as well. And we also use, for the program, we also use VetsNet a lot. We use the Vet Center for Counseling Services for our veterans. These are things that would really make our partnerships and the success of the veteran key is the partnerships that we have with all these agencies. And I think the main thing we got to hit on is that when we do that, that partnership with the CVSO is most important because they should know exactly what's going on with the veterans in their county. Plus, they already have leads or connections to those agencies that you're going to look to do those wraparound services for.
So that really leads me to my next question, especially when we start talking about the county veteran service officers. What era of veterans, or I should say, what type of veterans do you work with as a VORP in your region?
Right now, the era of veterans that we're seeing are the younger veterans, your Desert Shield, Desert Storm veterans, your Iraq, your Afghanistan veterans. They're running through a lot of tight situations that and I believe it has something to do with a lot of the traumatic experiences that they've experienced while out conducting these multiple deployments and everything. And I have an experience in that myself with my time in the Marine Corps too, so I understand where they're coming from. And those are the ones that we probably see the most right now. But that's not limited to. You have more coming out for your Vietnam veterans, and then also your older. I've dealt with Korean War veterans too on that, but those are few and far between. I think big thing that really sets the VORP program aside is our ability to work with any person who has served in the U.S. Armed Forces, to include like the Army and Air National Guard as well. We are able to bring them into our program and try to provide services for them locally as well. So meaning that VORP can work with veterans who might not qualify for VA services yet, but they still qualify for our services. And that's a huge reach for the program and for the state of Wisconsin.
I totally agree. When we were coming up with some of the bases of the R&R house, one of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that we would cater to all veterans, no matter what your discharge status was. We wanted to make sure that we would be a help to all veterans. And when talking with the CVSO, I definitely come to understand that discharge status is a big thing for a veteran in order to qualify to get help and things of that nature. So a question that just came up in my head, so I'll ask you about that. How are you able to help with reclassifications of discharges for veterans?
Now, a lot of that we assist on with that level, will partner with the CVSO on that, because that's their realm. And with the region I work in, we're kind of rural to that, so I have to depend on them a lot for some of that information. In Milwaukee, we have the CVSO that's down from that's the service officer for the American Legion, down in Zablocki, and then they also have their own county veteran service officer, as well as like entities like VetsNet, and we also use the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, because we have our own benefits section too that works through claims, appeals, and things of that nature as well. So there's many different routes and to connect those guys with, but it's making that connection with them on how to service them. I will preface that by saying too, the discharges that give us a hard time are your bad conduct discharge or your dishonorable discharge, but not saying that there's not services out there for them. It's just a little more difficult to work those.
It sounds like there's a lot of pieces in this puzzle to be able to give veterans the help and the support that they need. So my next question is going to be, is how important are those warm handoffs to your CVSOs and to your vet centers and things of that nature? VetsNet and things like that.
Those soft handoffs, those emails, those handshakes, or we walk you to those offices, we walk those veterans to those offices, are so important, because you get to see not only us who are advocating on their behalf, but you get to see the veteran, right? So you get to actually ask them those questions or look them in the eye, which is a huge thing for veterans too. That eye contact, that assurance that we're going to be able to work through this together to help you to get to a better place or a better quality of life, like we like to say. Those are most important. And those, like I said before, you're only successful in helping a veteran with those partnerships, those solid partnerships that you've made with those CVSOs, those nonprofit organizations, or those vet centers, the VA and stuff like that really work together in order to not have any gaps in services while providing assistance to a veteran.
So Mark, last thing I'll ask you is, how could a veteran get in contact with you or get in contact with your office? So
absolutely, for Region 8, veterans can call me, and they can I have a work cell phone from the WDBA. It's on my body from 8 to 4:30, so they can call me at 920-226-9898, or they can email me at mark.provencher, and you got to spell it out. So provencher.dva.wi.gov, or on my phone if they use that too, and they want to text me, feel free, because that, like I said, that thing is my kind of like my electronic leash. So hit it up with whatever you want, or it can be through some of these other partnering agencies. They could definitely use the CVSO. My CVSOs know that they can fill out the WDBA contact and referral forms. The actual nonprofit agencies and some of the other assistance agencies that I work with too know that they can fill those out and they can send them right to me, and I'm going to contact that veteran. So there's many different ways. It's just using whatever is there at that time. I like to suggest that they go through the CVSO first. That way they already know what's going on. But if they don't, that's no problem, because I'm going to do that soft handoff with them too.
Well, thank you very much. Talk to me a little bit more about these push-up for veterans. What's that about?
Okay, so if you remember at one time, there's a statistic that says there's 22 veterans a day who end up taking their lives due to dealing with mental health illness, PTSD, anxiety, depression, that transition from military life to civilian life, and now trying to find your niche, right? Not being in that regimented mindset of training to keep going and stuff, because that's with all the things that we do in the military, that your PT, your work, your regiment, that is actual self-care to keep some of those traumatic experiences away from you. And you guys know, digging into the mental health issue, well, the statistic was that 22 veterans a day take their lives. So the initiative was 22 push-ups a day. And I'm going to share that information, right? And it's been going on for quite some time. Last year, when I was getting myself more healthy, I used that motivation for those push-ups, getting that information out there, because I do have so much information from what I do, and veteran advocacy is absolutely the passion of my life. It probably drives me every single day, which is why I've been doing this so long and why I've been pretty successful at it. So that was my key. I was like talking to the wife, I'm like, babe, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep putting this information out there, get these veterans to know that they can contact their service office. They can contact the VA, but they just got to make it important to them. You know, they can contact vet centers, things of those natures, or their county health and human services, and find those agencies that are providing services for them. So I wanted to make sure that I was passing that correctly. So I used those 22 push-ups a day and my message to pass that out there. And I will now, I think I'm going my thing would be to keep doing it until I can't do it any longer.
I'm going to commit right now to 22 push-ups a day.
Nice. Heck yeah. I mean, for me, it's a great warm-up for my routine that I do, because I try to lift 5 days a week too. So me getting healthier, I'm 46 years old, you know. So I want to be able to keep up with my sons. So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, better late than never. Trust me. I definitely understand that. Do you think just listening to the passion that you have in your tone when you start talking about veteran advocacy and things of that nature, did you and when I looked you up and on the internet as well, my question becomes, is there a website that we might be able to, or that a veteran might be able to visit if they were thinking about wanting to do the 22 push-ups a day? Is there a website for that?
No, absolutely. There is. There's quite a few of them. So there's like Mission 22, there's Project 22, and there's more than that as well. All you got to do is just Google search them. Actually, Mission 22 on Facebook is got a big thing for April going on right now. So, but I have some of those tagged in my post on Facebook, and I think there's another one like 22 too many or something. So there's a couple of them, but there's quite a few different ones. Right now, I just do them for me, like as myself, without any other attachments to any other agencies or anything.
I understand. So that is great. So again, you be safe out there. I know the riding season is upon us. And absolutely. Do you have any pictures of your motorcycle?
I do. They're all over my Facebook page.
And give us your Facebook page one more time.
Sure. It's just Mark Provencher Jr.
Okay.
on there, and then it'll be in parentheses. It says Mighty Mouse because that's been my nickname since grade school.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna definitely go there and pull some pictures and make sure that we get those posted on our Facebook page as well. And you can see my Harley on my Facebook page also.
Wait.
All right. Well, thank you very much again, sir. You have a great day.
Dude, thank you very much.